because Stephen A. was the one partner I've ever had over like years.
Yeah.
Where I didn't feel like a relationship was really forming. And I'd like to go to work
in the Eastern Conference
you can feel a little bit watching it. And it was hard to tell how much of it was theater and how much of it was like, oh, these guys just don't get along in the same way. Or
whatever you feel about who you're working with and what the situation is, to me, a cardinal sin is portraying that on the air. You should always be thinking about it.
The Eastern Conference Finals continue.
Is that a fun show to do? Like,
it has been a great series so far.
And Game 5 is sure to deliver even more excitement. We're set to bring you the action on 2K Sports.
The issue with that show
Grant
is
Hill
this.
and Clark Kellogg. I'm Brian Anderson.
A hot take is a
LaForce is our
counterintuitive conclusion.
And the starting group for
that
Chicago.
on TV you're going to state your conclusion.
And it's Leonard in the 3. And for Charlotte, Devin Booker out there with Stephen Curry.
People will be like, what are you talking
about?
Give me 90 seconds. I'll explain it.
At least he has a plan. In at the 5 spot.
If you
look at Charlotte, they're trying to take the upper hand in what's been a tight series to this point.
Yeah, we're down to a best of 3 situation now. There's a consensus about sports. This guy's good, this guy's not good. Whatever. This team is in the right direction, the wrong direction.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're back here in a few days.
Consensus is usually correct, right? Yes, sometimes, so small percentage of the time. Aha. In fact, what everyone thinks is not true. If you have a counterintuitive conclusion about every topic in sports every day, you are insane.
And that is without a doubt true. And that's the reason why hot take culture is dying. Because the reality is that you have dumb niggas like Skip Bayless running around just saying whatever he wanted to say, when it was really hard to believe that somehow Skip Bayless's conclusions were so far from everybody else so often. You have a wrong conclusion here and there, or a different conclusion here and there, understandably so. But it's hard to believe that you can have one every single day on 8 different subject matters, 5 days a week, and then we're going to redo it over and over and over. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. My hot take, Stockton's overrated. But, like, of all point guards, that's effectively my only hot take. Like, it'd be ridiculous if I came out there and I said, you know who's actually the best point guard of all time? Derek Fisher. Like, if I said some shit like that, you would all be like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? And at some point, you would then question, like, what are you doing? And if you think that everyone isn't Skip Bayless, I guess Skip Bayless, is that he was so unconscious with the dumb shit that he would say, that it would just yield so many different things over and
surveying the floor.
And so then that was then resulted into a bunch of moments throughout the course of his career with ESPN.
O'Neal pulls it in.
Everybody can't do that.
Chicago
Nor
with the
should
ball.
everyone do it. Here and there, you may be right. But, like, there's just no way to keep on
launches
up
a 3.
Knocks
down the long
and then, because of
Lillard's got his second bucket of the night.
Very few shoot the 3 ball as well as Lillard does, so you want him taking those shots as much as possible.
Believe the things in which he said. Fast forward to where we are now, especially when we have
Abdul-Jabbar shot is good.
People have been trying to get off hot takes. The problem is that some of these people really don't believe the things that they say. They know they just say something so they can get some shit off on the airway. And then on the flip side, as you're saying, when they're wrong, they're being torn apart.
Here's Antetokounmpo. And he
Finish
makes it on the layup.
On the drive, Giannis just ditched his stride and his sprint.
They're the best.
Hard to handle.
Damn. They go a 3-1 lead while the man that you played was only in LA for
Foul of the game.
That's your hot take. We didn't hear about it. The next year, you sit here and say Chris Paul's not okay.
About 2 minutes gone by in the first quarter.
And those are the 2 teams that can make it to the finals and run a dunk and wins.
To the middle.
You're going to hear it. If you do nothing more than sit in front of the camera and do this, the Warriors think that they're going to win, and Nick might go to this soliloquy about how they're not going to do that. And then they go on the field. If you say that, Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, and all these other people are able to hold it down,
Want to
the worst
run your
MVP
offense through
of all
him, a
time,
reliable
you're going
scoring
to hear
option.
about it when you win the championship.
Charlotte has gone
And I want
0 for 2
everybody
from
to
outside.
understand that there is a reason why those hot
Pass
takes
to
are
Antetokounmpo.
like they did before.
Because
That
the
drop,
man is
and
new
it comes off
space.
an assist from
And it's
Curry.
also the reason why
Starting to find
you
his rhythm.
need
He's
gives a
cooking,
fuck
and he
about what
knows
Skip
it. And you know what?
Bayless
They're
has
going to
to
keep
say
him.
in
He'll be the
2025.
centerpiece of their offense today. You can bank on
You're
that.
much more talented than
Here's
you
Lillard.
in 15
He's got
years.
5.
We
And
know
there's another
that
one
it's
for
nothing but
Chicago.
a show. It's
Hey, every
still
time Dame shoots
so
it,
when Stephen
you feel
A.
like it's
gets
gonna
up and
drop.
he's talking about how much he knows about the
Pass
sport,
to
we all
Abdul-Jabbar.
know he don't. It's not that much of a surprise. As someone who is, and I believe Stephen A. is a big
O'Neal pulls it
you're
in.
stretching yourself so thin
O'Neal's
that you
got
don't
his
really
fourth
know
rebound
much
in
about
this
what
one.
you're talking about. There's a lot of pressure on that
Shoot
show.
from the baseline. And
It's
there's
a
another one
big
for Chicago.
And you got to defend better than that. I mean, that's a good look for him. And you do not want to let him get going early because that will get you cooked.
Curry passes to Booker. And he knocks the jumper down.
Pretty swift release that time from Booker, getting it away just in time.
And so Billy Donovan calls timeout. He might have seen something and needs to review with his guys. Both teams deciding to change it up. Some of the most impressive shooters in the game. Here are the guys who have been hitting with consistency from outside the arc. Stephen Curry, third.
Some guys thrive on the postseason pressure. He's been an unbelievable floor spacer for them.
Like Stephen A's opinion will not diverge into counterintuitive.
No points so far.
So his big take would be the delivery theatrically is Steph Curry is the greatest shooter that God ever created.
Hornets trail by 5.
Yeah, every a counterintuitive take would be actually the best shooter on the Warriors is
Don't want to let him get into a
because
rhythm.
I'm making this up. I don't believe this. I thought it was Steph. But because when you say greatest, you talk about high leverage moments too. And I have more confidence in Clay hitting a high leverage moment three than I do Steph. Something like that. But it's hard for me to believe that
That's exactly the kind of high-impact defense they want to see out of him.
put together that finish. That
For
right
Chicago,
there
they've gone
sounds
6
like
of 9 and finding their rhythm now.
outside
Brown.
That literally you were already prepared to go
Leonard up top. And he gets it to go from the high post.
I like Leonard's shot right there. He's very comfortable from that distance.
Here's Irving. And so he draws the foul, headed to the line to shoot a pair.
Ready to go, bro.
Jaylen Brown picks one up.
Ready
Let's
to
get a
go.
quick check of the scoring breakdown
And
here.
Steve ain't sitting there
You know, in the
like,
early one, they've been effective scoring in mid-range, and if it's falling, I say stay with it.
And another thing, they found the open man. Really playing on selfish basketball, moving the ball around there on the perimeter.
And he makes both free throws.
When you send somebody like him to the line, it's pretty much easy money.
Get the juices going. You need to
59
sell it
seconds
outside
left in the first
and
quarter
we
here.
just playing rapid. That's
And
all
there's the
that
whistle. Illegal screen is the call.
Well, the league has put an emphasis to crack down on illegal screens.
That will never. So there was pressure on that shit.
No
So
way.
you can't
Now
keep-
you've
here's
got
the-
to
here's
be
the thing.
stationary
Here's something you
on
think
those
is
screens.
crazy.
No extra
This is the
hips
perfect
or
example of what you
elbows, or
said.
they'll call it.
Jalen
Brown, he's
Brunson
checked in for
is
Kawhi
the
Leonard.
best name
Curry
of all
passes to
time.
Nowitzki.
You believe that? No. Okay, then you can't say that. It's arguable.
Outside Irving.
But you have to keep digging until you find the
Left
thing that
side
Bill
wing.
Simmons sticks. His
Can I
actually
say no shares?
Yeah.
If I say that,
Kupo,
that
pass to
should be it.
Durant.
They're like, that's amazing. That's
And
the
it's on to
second
Kupo with
two.
the
This
miss.
is the currency, the
Chicago
thing you
leading.
don't believe.
8-second difference between the shot clock
We
and
know,
game
we know
clock.
y'all
To
was
the
saying
paint.
shit that y'all didn't move. Max, come on.
Abdul-Jabbar's shot is good.
Not too many
We
defenders are
know
blocking
that
Kareem
you were
inside.
saying
One, he's
shit
too
that
big,
you did not
he's
believe.
too
You
powerful,
said
and he's too
you
skilled.
wanted Iguodala. We know you didn't believe that.
Here's
We know.
Durant.
Let's be serious.
He's now
You know,
1
you
for 2
should
with
stick
that
with
bucket.
and that's so the difficulty with me on the show was it was a lot of work to keep digging until I said the thing that I believe that would also get a reaction.
But on top of it, they're telling the Cowboys like there's Knicks and these like it's all the 15.
The baskets were coming early and often in the first quarter.
Like right now, the Cowboys
Go
have a
ahead,
little run.
up by 4. And
Perfect,
we'll be
because
back in
it's
just
actually
a minute with the
reasonable
start of the
fuck up.
second
I remember when I
quarter.
was doing Countdown, they're trying to make us lead with the Lakers all the time because that's coming from Bristol. Lead with the Lakers. And it's like, well, can we lead with Memphis? They're They just traded Rudy Gay and the team's better.
I would tell you, no, do not read that.
Talk about Kobe, Kenny Meg, how high can they get, and then we'd have to do that second again. And that's kind of the ESPN Nerd News
Let's get you back onto the court for more of this pivotal Game 5.
Tom Brady's
what we've seen from Chicago, what'd you take so
far? I remember that.
Yeah, that's what the part that I didn't like. I apologized about it the next day, and they didn't like it on the show. And I apologized because he's going to be the ball and show.
Now we'll see if they
I was just being I was talking the way you talk to the one.
We've got Kate Cunningham,
I just meant,
and it's Irving in at the 3. That's the group starting the second quarter for the Hornets.
And I love the energy from Cunningham inside, pushing to get the ball.
I didn't really need it.
No made baskets yet. Wow, no good.
If you come to that counterintuitive conclusion, you're in a room of 100 people,
Caldwell.
and 99 people think you're wrong, you should absolutely double check to make sure that you believe what you think you believe, because the chances are you're wrong and they're right. But then sometimes you check and you go, no, in fact, I'm right. And that's great. Then you can.
And here's Brown for 3. And the rebound goes to Charlotte. And they've been producing at a high level.
No question. They're in a nice rhythm of
time. Famously,
here's Caldwell.
It became a meme.
Pass to
This is the universe on the line. Yeah, I want Iguodala, right?
Here's Cunningham.
The point I was making was Steph Curry I had seen in Game 7. I was there.
Got to get more
On
bodies
my
in
own
the
down. I
paint.
just wanted to
That's
see
3
his
straight
head,
field
right?
goals
I
from
wanted
below
to be
the
able
free throw
to.
line.
And
Chicago's gone 0 for 2 from outside in the second quarter. And so Billy Donovan calls timeout. And we might see some changes. Coach potentially looking to
it
adjust.
was 5 minutes left in the fourth. This is one of your moments. Game 7. Yeah. They did not score another point, and you are the point guard and the best player on the team. He's carelessly throwing behind the back passes out of bounds. He's scared to shoot. When he does shoot, he's not good. I can't say scared. I don't know what's going on in his heart, but that's really cute. And the problem is that offense didn't spin the rest of the way and lost Game 7 at home. That, to me, is fate of the universe on the line. Right? So that's what he's checking
for Charlotte.
Not getting his own shot.
Lillard's checked in.
Thousands, Iggy, if he has the shot, he's going to take it and nail it.
Well, you know what's so crazy? 2 things. A, not only was Steph hurt in that game, but B, you were changing the dynamics to tell the shots that both of them are taking. You didn't see Curry take a bigger shot.
So he'll take 2 from the free throw line.
Certain guys just exude that.
Iguodala's getting
Lillard is a great player and a terrific
wide open shot.
And let's take a moment here to get your take, guys, on the scoring so far for the Hornets.
Well, great play down low. I mean, you expect the defense to adjust, collapse maybe, but that's open up things on the perimeter later in the game. In addition to that, how about the mid-range action we've seen from this group? Utilizing the jump shot to get them started in the right manner in this one.
Chicago making a switch here. Leonard's checked in.
We really think of Damian Lillard as a scorer only, but this guy does a lot of good stuff out there. Assists, rebounds, really solid stats for him across the board.
He's getting his first free throw attempts of the night now.
We all come down together and we dress up. And we're all going to have dinner together. If you're staying at my house, and if you want to stay awake after 12 o'clock midnight, please tell me so. Daniel Bryan, this is a message to you. Daniel, can I ask you why you haven't put gel in your hair and why you aren't wearing dress shoes in my house? So I got another, it's just a big video I can make on this as well. But let us talk about what David Otunga pretty much came out and said caused John Cena to start verbally abusing him. So pretty much this is not the match right here, but this right here is pretty much where the beef between John Cena and David Otunga started to happen. So pretty much, right, David Otunga is going to tell a story about how they were doing house shows in Paris, for example. And the thing about these house shows is that, when they're on tour and they go to different cities and wrestle in dark matches, they usually all wrestle the same opponents and they all go over the same rehearsed match. And this one time, John Cena was at a spot where he was supposed to get slingshotted off the top rope, right? So his head rests on the top rope. Then David pushes the rope and then he pulls it back and slingshots John Cena all the way back. And instead of John Cena waiting to get slingshotted, he immediately jumps back when David just grabs the rope and then starts just to go crazy on him, right?